Hello, my fellow music enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel where we bring you all the latest scoops and facts about your favorite music legends. Today we have something special in store for you. Here are probably 10 things you don't know about Bon Jovi. 1. Bryan once nearly died because of parasites he picked up in South America. Bon Jovi went on a hiatus in the early 90s before reuniting and recording their fifth album, Keep the Faith, in 1992. Most of the band used the hiatus to pursue solo musical projects, with Jon Bon Jovi using the time to record a solo album titled Blaze of Glory. But keyboardist Bryan mainly needed the time off to recover from a serious illness. Bryan spent a significant amount of the hiatus recovering from parasites, which he picked up during the band's tour of South America. Bryan was lucky to survive the ordeal. "They ate out my intestines and my stomach and put me out of commission for about 6 months," Bryan told Keyboard in 1993. Bryan was bedridden and lost around 40 pounds before recovering after a 2-week stint in hospital. 2. They nearly called themselves Johnny Electric. Bon Jovi are famously named after the band's frontman, Jon Bon Jovi, real name Jon Bon Jovi. But did you know that the rock group very nearly called themselves Johnny Electric instead? Back in 1983, the band nearly signed to Polygram's Mercury Records under the name Johnny Electric. But at the last minute, they decided to take the advice of a peer and instead name themselves after their frontman. Other bands at the time had achieved success by plumping for simple 2-word names, such as Van Halen. And so Bon Jovi wisely decided to follow suit. The rest, as they say, is history. 3. Richie Sambora was once arrested for drink driving with his daughter and niece in the car. While Richie Sambora struggled with substance abuse throughout Bon Jovi's prime, this was largely behind closed doors. However, Sambora's drinking issues were made very public back in March 2008, when a police officer spotted his car carelessly weaving through lanes. Sambora was pulled over, and the policeman found him driving while inebriated with his girlfriend, daughter, and niece also in the car. Sambora failed the breathalyzer test and was immediately arrested. He went on to plead no contest, saving himself from imprisonment. He ultimately paid a total of $1,600 in fines, received 3 years of probation, and was made to attend a class on the dangers of alcohol. Sambora continued to perform with Bon Jovi right up until the 2nd of April 2013, when it was announced that he would be leaving for personal reasons. 4. They were the last band to play at the old Wembley Stadium before it was demolished. Back in September 2000, Bon Jovi had the honor of being the last ever band to play live at Wembley Stadium. Before it was demolished and refurbished, a series of farewell gigs were organized at the venue. John told the crowd that the group was privileged to be the last band at Wembley Stadium. He added that the band was proud to follow a long line of superstars including Michael Jackson and Elton John. The band played several of their biggest hits, including Livin' on a Prayer and You Give Love a Bad Name, and indulged the audience by playing several encores. The night then ended with an impressive fireworks display. Bon Jovi were also meant to be the first performers at the new stadium when it opened in 2007, but the job ultimately went to George Michael. 5. You Give Love a Bad Name was originally written for Bonnie Tyler. You Give Love a Bad Name was the first single from Bon Jovi's 1986 album, Slippery When Wet. The song reached #1 on the US Billboard 100 in November 1986, a milestone, as it was the band's first #1. However, this almost never happened. An earlier version of the song was written by songwriter Desmond Child, intended as a single for Bonnie Tyler. This version was released in May 1986, as If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man. Child, however, was dissatisfied with the outcome and reworked the song into You Give Love a Bad Name. He worked on the new track with the help of Jon Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora. It's safe to say the finished product was a huge success. 6. Michael Jackson once sent Bubbles to hang out with the band. Hanging out with Michael Jackson is one thing, but hanging out with Michael Jackson's pet chimpanzee is another matter altogether. Back in 1987, both the King of Pop and Bon Jovi were performing in Japan and happened to be staying at the same hotel. Jackson entertained the group in his hotel suite one afternoon and listened to their wildest stories from the tour. The band encouraged the enigmatic star to come and join them in their own room later on in the night. Jackson didn't head down to party with the band, but not wishing to look rude, sent his pet chimp Bubbles in his place. The monkey and the band had a great time, despite the absence of Michael himself. 7. The band's original guitarist went on to form Skid Row. Before Richie Sambora joined, Dave "The Snake" Sabo was the lead guitarist in the band. Sabo was more of a tangential member of the band, flitting in and out of the group sporadically. Bon Jovi was looking for someone more committed and brought in Richie Sambora in Sabo's place in 1983. There was no ill feeling between Sabo and Bon Jovi. In fact, the two promised each other that whoever made it first would help the other out. As it happens, both Sabo and Bon Jovi made it, as Sabo went on to form the group Skid Row. Skid Row achieved great commercial success in the 80s and 90s with their first two albums certified as multi-platinum. 8. John is a keen actor. John Bon Jovi is a man of many talents. On top of being a keen musician, he's also an accomplished actor. Back in the 1990s, Bon Jovi decided to take the plunge and dabble in acting alongside his musical ventures. He was successful, and ended up starring in films including Moonlight and Valentino and Destination Anywhere, the film. He's not only appeared in movies, he's also appeared in TV shows including Sex and the City and 30 Rock. When asked by The Guardian in 2021 if he minded being typecast as the hunk, he replied, "Hell no. I never went to the Shakespeare Company," he said. "I was so anxious to get work, I said, I will do the small role, the hunk, just to get enough of a resume." 9. They had no idea Livin' on a Prayer would be such a hit. Livin' on a Prayer is perhaps Bon Jovi's most popular and recognizable song of all time. The single release sold 800,000 copies in the United States alone. In 2013, it was certified triple platinum for over 3 million digital downloads. But, funnily enough, not one of the members of Bon Jovi predicted how much of a hit the song would turn out to be. Speaking to The Guardian in 2021, frontman Bon Jovi said, "That song, God bless it. But my God, who knew? Not us, I can assure you. It was created on a day when none of us had any ideas. We just had a conversation and it came out of that. I'm sure happy my name's on it." I remember walking out of the room with Richie and I said, it's okay. Maybe we should just put it on a movie soundtrack. 10. John started out working at his cousin's studio. It seems John Bon Jovi ended up being a touch more famous than his cousin Tony, but the roles were reversed back in the early 80s. Tony Bon Jovi, John's cousin, owned a prolific music studio in Manhattan called Power Station Studios. When John was 17, he spent much of his time working there with his cousin, starting out by sweeping floors. Bon Jovi wanted to see his cousin succeed and let him record several demos using the facilities available at the studios. One of these demos was even produced by Billy Squier, but they failed to catch the eye of any record companies. John's big break eventually came in 1984 after his band Bon Jovi released their self-titled debut album. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.